This is episode number 483 of WPwatercooler. This is your website on AI. I'm Jason Tucker. You can find me over at jasontucker.blog and all the places that I do things on the social media internet.
I'm Say Reed. I am at Say Reed Media on some of the things.
And y'all know who it is. It's your boy Jason Cosper back at it again on the world's most influential WordPress podcast.
Speaking of that podcast, you can find us wherever it is that great podcasts can be found. And you can come hang out with us in our Discord at WPwatercoolerslack.lol.
I just want to point out that we can also be found where not good podcasts can be found.
Oh, yeah.
Or we can also be found where really bad videos exist. We're just there. We're just everywhere.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Ooh, Segue. I already did it.
We haven't started yet. You're segueing?
I'm segueing. No, I'm segueing into it. It.
Oh, okay.
We're everywhere. Just like AI. Dun, dun, dun.
That's true.
It was good,
That's
right? Are we mall cops? I don't know what that was. You
It's
know,
a segue.
it was a segue.
Spell it like I would spell it.
Did not get that, but thank you. Don't forget to watch the video, people, because the visual gags. We're here for
Look,
you.
I really wanted to take the time this morning and set up a laptop and install the new ChatGPT app for the Mac and have ChatGPT show up in the chat here so we could all like talk to it and ask it questions about how AI and websites and all that stuff was going to work. And I didn't have any time to do any of it. It would have been fun for like 5 seconds, and I would have had to spend like 2 hours to set it all up.
Right.
But it would have been fun for like 5 seconds.
Let me tell you something about AI. AI is not going to tell you anything you don't know.
Yeah, but you could sit there and totally like, have Scarlett Johansson talk to you on. We could have had Scarlett Johansson on the show. Come on. Awesome.
I have so many feelings about AI. We've kind of talked about it on here.
I'm planting seeds here, Cosper, just so you know.
Okay.
Like baiting me. Are you baiting me?
There's a crop dusting that's occurring.
All right. Should we introduce our topic more properly, or should we just jump right in? What do you think?
Yeah, I think. Yeah, please. Like, I haven't. Just to be perfectly honest, I haven't touched any of this AI stuff as it relates to building a website, like at all. I've put stuff
use AI
in
all the time
as content, but I've never built a website using it.
Yeah,
right.
Well, there's different ways to do that. Turns out.
Yeah, and that's what I'm interested in, is that part of it, not like how to like take words that I didn't write and put them in there. I mean, I can do that already for client work. So
yeah, that's Lorem Ipsum generators have been doing that for us for many, many years.
This is true.
You know what I just realized? Is AI going to kill the Lorem Ipsum generator?
Yeah.
Because you don't need it anymore. You can just say, "Hey, ChatGPT, give me 4 paragraphs of marketing text talking about an." And
then the client goes, "Perfect, go with it."
Oh my God, the client does go perfect. Go with it. Actually, what they end up saying, and this is I know because I use AI for filler content all the time. I'm like, you're not going to give me content, fine. I'm going to put some AI in it. And I do. And because I generally feed it with like actual relevant information, it's basic marketing content on pages it's wayfinding. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
right.
I actually got into this discussion in our Discord about page builders in general, which is something that we're talking about today. But about the structured content, or in Divi's case, not anymore with Divi 5 because they're going into Blockland. But the existing Divi is short codes, or just short codes or content that like exists with Visual Bakery or whatever the heck it's called now. Liquid, I don't know what it's called. What is that thing called now? It's like
WP Bakery,
and now it's Visual something. I don't know what it is. Anyway. Whatever page builder it is, generally the pages that you build, landing pages of different types, everyone's always like, well, you can't move it. And I'm like, generally pages are not content that you keep. right? Pages tend to be the content that is directing you to different posts, or is archiving a collection of posts, or archiving some product, or saying, here are some of the things we do. So there might be some custom post types in there for services or whatever. But a lot of the time, the basic content in pages is very much more temporal than the content that is in posts or in custom post types. So for my usage, I like all the faces that you're making, Cosper. This is fun. But for my needs, it doesn't really matter that the page builder is what the structure is, because if I redo the site, or if we redo the branding, or if we redo the content, that's going to change anyway. So the posts we want to keep for longevity purposes, SEO, the knowledge bank that's in there, but the history. But the page content's going to change. It's going to get deleted and updated. The page might even get deleted if a program goes away or a product goes away or something, So
Sure.
I just wanted to get that out of the way, since we're talking with page builders, talking page builders today. That's everyone's complaint about it.
Right.
So I just want to just get that out of the way up front. They have a for building that temporary, content, whatever that is.
Yeah, I think the interesting thing is when you start to introduce AI into this whole page builder space, it's really when, and it seems like anybody who is making a page builder at this point has some sort of or that has a sort of design system. You have Elementor, who has a little bit of an AI layout builder. You have I think WordPress.com announced, I can't remember the name of whatever their thing is, but
Beyond, or
Big something, or Big Sky. There it is.
Big Sky.
Yeah.
Obscure enough for me to not know it.
It does go along with the sort of astronomy theme that is part of the Automatic's internal naming. They have team names that are very cosmic. So Big Sky is interesting in that context, because it's sort of all of the
and Jetpack ties it all together.
I don't know. It's just somewhat related.
Big
it's up there.
Sky company or country.
What?
Isn't Montana Big Sky country? That's what I took it as.
Yes, and then there's also what is it? Blue Sky, right? Isn't that that's a thing?
That's the thing too.
That's one of those that Twitter guy who is not the Twitter guy anymore made the blue sky that looks like the Twitter.
Yeah. We're getting far afield. So
wait, actually you're not, because oh my god, everything is a clone of everything anyway, and if we're all just a copy of a copy of a copy, including the apps that we're using, I don't even know what is real anymore anyway. Does it matter if it's AI or if it's a layout template? What is really the difference here, right? That we're talking about.
So
sorry,
I've been
interrupt you in your flow.
Yeah, I've been kind of thinking about this a little bit, and we have these. Even Astra, or the company behind Astra, Brainstorm Force, they have ZipWP, which is another AI site builder that can help get people started. And I think that seems to be where people are going.
Onboarding, you mean, essentially?
Yeah. And the onboarding experience in WordPress has been lacking.
Oh my gosh, sorely.
Yeah.
But I would like to point out that we are not doing any sort of onboarding process within WordPress, the project,
right?
Nor any sort of AI. That is strictly within .com.
Describe the website.
It makes one wonder if perhaps an onboarding process for WordPress is not really something that is desired, insofar as if there is one for .com, then people can onboard, and if there is not one for .org, then people cannot. And it's just that simple.
I will argue that we've managed to hook 40-something% of the web. I don't know if
talking about this. Oh, it makes me nauseous.
But without any onboarding.
We have been doing the onboarding.
Yes.
This is the thing. And like, I know, so there's definitely a role of human, a job here that is definitely going to be severely impacted by this. And that is the person who is like piecing stuff into a template that, you know, that's what they were kind of already doing, right? So I have some content, like, so say there's someone hires somebody, right? Like a freelance or whatever. And they're like, here's my content in a collection. In the hypothetical, because we know no client ever comes with the content. But if the developer, quote unquote developer, or the site builder or whatever is just loading up a page builder, adding in some templates, some base layouts, putting the content that they're given in there, what is the difference, right? Like that is, it cuts out whether the freelancer is doing it or the actual user ends up doing it will make a difference in the ecosystem. But in terms of getting the stuff into the site, into a basic layout template, like that's just making that a lot faster and easier. And that's the same thing that onboarding would be doing with templates. But now you can onboard with AI and it's like a friendly person talking to you or whatever, you know, asking you questions and prompts about your business or what you want to build. You know, the thing is, it's like using it in this way is not necessarily like generative AI, right?
Right.
Like kind of just like automating a template process that already existed. So to me, this sort of like a AIification of this process is just like automation, right? It's just
sure.
Like, there's some forms that you fill out and it triggers some stuff and it gives you whatever.
Is this like taking your notes, like for your notes from your onboarding meetings with your client, and you're just pasting those into the chat bot and saying, okay, set up the scaffolding for me, and it goes like about page, this page, that page, this other page, this other page, and it just starts pouring all that crap in there, and you're like, oh, by the way, there's this, like, I don't know, Dropbox or wherever it is you store your files, go grab all those and throw them in there, and it's like, oh, we found a person, picture of this person, let's put them in there,
I mean, that sounds great because that work is tedious to me. For me,
right.
like that part of the work is the hard part, for like difficult to do because it's boring and it's hard. And you're just like, oh my God, I have all these pages to create and I have all this content to plug in. And, usually I try to automate it with like an Airtable or a spreadsheet. So I don't have to sit there and do that work. Right. So for me, that's just making it easier. But, there's definitely a category of person there that it is sort of taking a job away from, for sure, or contracting the amount of time that's billable for that work, because it is going to move a lot faster. And they could, I guess the danger is that, right, the person who might have to pay for that beforehand could now do it on their own. So in a sense, contracting that out also.
So the way that I see these AI page builders is effectively, this is say you need a site, and to you both know that I'm a fan of metaphors. Say you need a site and you need it built. You go to one of these AI page builders, and it's like asking a Lego master builder to build you a site with like the AI is asking like a Lego. However, the master builder comes back and builds it all with Duplo. It goes, hey, I've got these pieces for you. I've got something that looks kind of like the thing you want. And now you're going to have to do a little manipulation to this. Anything that I have thrown through one of these, like in testing and seeing, like kind of trying to understand the threat that site builders are up against with these things, is like, hey, can you build me this site? And all it does, and most of these tools seem to be doing, is taking predefined patterns that it knows that you need, like matching them to your color scheme if it asks you, like, hey, what's your palette or anything like that,
and then in with a couple keywords.
Exactly. Try to like bullshit and pad that out. Sometimes the content that it fills in, unless you're actually like giving it a full run of content that you need on the site, it might sound okay, but like sometimes it doesn't pass the sniff test. Like you're gonna have to go in and re-edit it. So basically, asking a master builder to do something and having them build something out of Legos, out of the fine grained components you need, versus asking an AI to do it and having the AI basically like build you something out of like, if not Duplo, it's like, oh, you need a pirate ship. Well, I've got a piece of Lego that looks like the back half of a pirate ship, so I can build that out for you, and putting that all together, where a master builder is like going in and like, okay, I'm adjusting this little piece here. They just added negative margins to Gutenberg, so there's like these cool effects that you can.
Oh no!
Amazing work we're doing. Okay, look, I don't mean to belittle it. I'm just saying,
sure.
Like, what year is it?
No, I agree.
Like,
it's
you also can't do side margins.
Right.
What? Just not allowed. Just no.
Mm-hmm.
Just no margins for you.
I have been
Put
building
yourself into your custom CSS classes, because we don't believe in side margins.
You just tell the AI, you're like, hey, I have this class and I need to have.
All right. Okay, but seriously,
Right.
back to AI. You've said so many things that I've been like literally taking notes. Okay, like, so here's the deal though. This is exactly what I'm saying. What the initial setup thing is, just like a setup script. And agencies have had these setup scripts. All freelancers have these set up. You know, my friend Brianna has been like talks at WordCamps about like, here's your thing. What does she call it? I can't remember what she calls it. She's a really cool word for it that sounds super techy, that I should totally know. But like, you just, you basically like hit a button and it's like, here's all the basic plugins and layouts and things that you need. Divi's had the Divi cloud for a really long time, where you could save your layouts so you could use them between stuff. You can, save and move around your modules. So like all of these, like getting to that point, that has existed. There have been so many shortcuts for that process. And honestly, even just, the onboarding process that WordPress.com had in 2018, which when I was teaching specifically about the WordPress.com, I was teaching that onboarding for people and it was the thing, like, what is your industry? What are your colors? What are your keywords? Are you modern or whatever? And then it would spin up a website. So I don't see the value for, like, there's obviously value in time, right? So what this enables people to do is to get to that point faster. And that, of course, enables people to spin up, like dummy websites or, spam websites, which we've seen a problem with. Like, you can spin this stuff up so fast.
Emphasis on the dummy, right?
Yeah, but I mean, and I suppose they could be different because you tweak some things in the prompt, as opposed to if you were spinning stuff up with a script, it would be more the same, but you can make the script do different things anyway. So it's not revolutionary what we're doing with this AI is my point. We're just like, It's like, in an airport and you have like the walkway now, and then you also have a people mover, right? Like the walkway is there. You don't have to have the people mover, but if you get a people mover, you get there a little faster, and you can play on them sometimes. Whatever.
Yeah, I don't think
getting to the same point.
Yeah, I don't think that like this AI building stuff needs to be full self building, but rather just needs to be like, I need to park the car. You know what I mean? Like a very specific task. So like that one task of saying, hey, here's the transcript, going back to what I was saying earlier, like here's this transcript of the stuff that we had from the from the client. The client said that they wanted their colors to be orange, blue, and white.
Right.
And here's the color codes for them. You tell it that, and then it goes and says, okay, well, I'm going to find all the places in WordPress that requires those colors to be in there, and I'm going to go fill in the blanks. That would be great for me. I think that's like, that cuts out some work for me. Sounds
Yeah,
great.
exactly. But
It
the
parked
point
the
is
car.
that's just like busy work. Like none of that work is like so I guess getting to the point of your point about the idea of the master builder, right? Like my value to my clients has never been that I can like spin up a website. Oh, it used to be, honestly, because people they couldn't do it, but it hasn't been in a long time. My value to my clients, particularly with my job, is because I can help them translate what the hell they're trying to do into a website or into an interface that makes sense or into some part of their workflow, right? Like they can't ask AI that because I mean they could, but like that's they don't know what to ask, right? And that's all part of this. So I guess in a way, this is opening the door for more people to get to that point. Like I said, of here's a website, right? You say I want this page, I want that page, I want whatever pages. But the funny part is about this is that when you are the person making the website that doesn't know about websites, and this is not, I think people should make DIY websites for sure. But with my clients, they always were like, oh, I don't need an about page, or I don't need, these other pages, or I don't need this privacy page, or I don't, like their understanding of what they need has never necessarily been what their audience wants. And that is, that is also something you could ask AI about. And so in theory, I guess you could tie all of this stuff together where it's like, you're feeding AI your marketing plan and it's producing something that's like really custom to these specific audiences. But what I believe this is going toward is the value, something that I've always valued anyway, is bespoke websites, essentially, right? Like the idea that you're not just writing some floofy, like in the business world, right? In the marketing world, the amount of recycled content that exists is like mind-boggling, right? It's like even in WordPress articles, it's like someone copied the code from someone who copied the code from someone who got it from a Stack Overflow from like 2016 or whatever. And it's like,
and the guy just wrote it on it like one-handed on his phone, and it's all jacked up anyhow.
And now it's been like on the internet for like 10 years, and it's the gold standard that Google thinks, even though it's the wrong answer or whatever. Like this mirrored content has existed long before AI. So the real problem with that is the AI is like getting all that crappy information. So it's going to be like, wow, all the websites have banners, and most of the websites have hero images and all these big things. Let's just keep building websites like that. Like it is just going to create this like housing tract version of websites, and not in a GeoCities way where every house is unique and beautiful, in a like Stepford Wives way where every house is exactly the same, and you might have your door on the right or you might have your door on the left, but that you still have the same basic format and every fourth house has the same layout, like it's already like that. So
I live in a suburb. I live in a suburb that I think our house was built in 1986. And I as driving or walking around in our tract, I'm just like, that's our layout. That's our layout. That's our layout. Like I have been inside your house without even ever having to set foot inside your house. Like
absolutely. And the cool thing about that, right? So you built in 1986 and it's however many years later, 30 some years later. I'm not doing that math. But
almost 40.
Yeah, almost 40 years. But like those things started out as all cookie cutter, right? Like those pictures of like the 50s and the 80s, like beautiful little, not beautiful, but like just tiny little like Monopoly houses, all exactly the same. And humans have come along and made them different, right? They have done different landscaping or painted them or made an addition or like changed out the door or like added shutters or like whatever they did to create something unique. So even though they have that foundation that is the same, the humans came along and made them something unique to that house. And that is the same value. That's what makes that interesting now, right? And more than just, older tract housing is more interesting than new tract housing because it has had time to get humaned, I suppose. So I think that, essentially what we're talking about here is getting to that point. Like, great, the developer made the tract housing. Cool. I like that. It's a housing developer, but I guess it's the same thing. And now the humans need to come along and make that unique for whatever that unique thing is. And to me, that is so much better because every little business, every blog is different, does have the ability to be, even somewhat unique and somewhat differentiated from something that's very similar to it. But the humans have to do that. Like, you can't ask AI, how can I be different than everybody else? Like, that's I don't know how that would work.
It's funny. Zach in the chat said exactly what I was thinking. It's this Malvina Reynolds song, Little Boxes. If you ever watched Weeds, it was the theme song for Weeds.
I've heard the song.
Yeah, little boxes on the hillside, little boxes made of ticky-tacky, little boxes on the hillside, and they all look just the same. You got red ones, green ones, blue ones, and yellow ones, but they all look the same.
I think, wasn't that an older song, the ticky-tacky houses? Or
Malvina Reynolds is like who wrote it. I think Pete Seeger originally recorded it.
It was like that.
It's her song.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I mean, that's exactly it, right? And even songs. So, like, if you listen to, I don't know, the Beatles, from, speaking of the 60s, you listen to some of those songs, a lot of that sounds the same. And if you listen to some of the pop songs, like, a lot of that sounds the same. Like, we've already been cookie cutter, right? Like, everyone's, that's we've already got, like, copyright infringement, right? Where everyone's like making clones of everything. You type something into Amazon and there's like 10 of the same thing with like the weird name. Like, is that AI? Like, I guess it could be AI at this point, spitting up Amazon things with like bursting out listings, and then it's like AI reviews, and it's just like, to me, this just makes that so much less valuable, and there's so much of it. So if there's just all of this, I've always felt that way about page layouts as well, like pre-built, non-customized page layouts that you just slap a page together. Like, you can see, oh, this was built with the GoDaddy builder, or this was built with, this is the default 2024 pattern, or this is Frost even right now with themes. You're like, cool, I recognize that theme. We're, boring.
There is people have been saying it for the past 10 years that they can tell when a site is a WordPress site because it looks like,
I can tell when it's a Squarespace site or Shopify site. Like, you can tell.
There's an easy way to tell if it's a Squarespace site. If you're on it, just hit the escape key and it will try to take you to the login page if it's a Squarespace site, even if you're not. So if you're trying to figure out what's under the hood there, like I always
that's a fun little hack.
They're just shopping around and you hit escape and you're like, aha.
I'm gonna hit escape on it. You know what we should be doing is that up, down, 8, 6, whatever that is. Like, you should really do that on every site.
Konami code?
Yeah, that one.
Up, down, left, right, BA, start.
That one, exactly. Do it on every site just to see.
Right.
Okay, here's the cool thing though. What we could use AI to do is create these bases that allow us to, this is why I'm excited, because I am going to be able to spin up the baseline so much faster, which means I can then spend the time on making something better, like customizations or functionality, or using AI to build out other parts that like create something that's more unique. It's not like you have to stop with like, the AI builder built this and, it built the pages, which, by the way, there are plugins for that will like automatically generate pages for you. Also, you just like write out the names. It's like, here are all your pages. You're like, cool, thanks. I'm not sure what the difference is.
Are you concerned by using this, that you're like contributing to the gray goo, the pink slurry of the web? You're
Don't I already do that because I use Divi and I'm like a shun.
No, but like you look at this point, and here we are, like AI has been like trained on all of this human output of books, of websites, of like all of this media, and they've run out of things to train it on. So what have they started training AI on but the output of AI? And it's
It is literally, I've mentioned this on before. It is not the snake eating its tail at this point. That's not what this is. That is a different thing. What this is, and I'm gonna say it even though it's totally horrible, that AI eating AI, that's the human centipede. That's what that is.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's not the snake eating its own tail. It's the snake. It's the snake taking a shit and eating its own shit before it gets to its tail.
Yeah, it's that. It's really different because that's just gonna get like. I mean, we all know what happens when you make a copy of a copy of a copy of a copy. You know, besides the file getting named like _copy final.
Yeah, but I mean, I used to photocopy and make zines and all of this other stuff, and once you end up photocopy, there comes a point where you can't read it anymore because the signal has degraded so much. All you have is noise.
Yeah, I mean,
what if this is more Jarvis than it is like build me a thing, but rather like, hey, I'm noticing that we're getting into like the paperclip type thing on Windows. But like the idea of like, hey, I'm noticing that you're going to be building this website that is going to do this. You need an event calendar. Hey, here's a zip file to install Event Calendar Pro or whatever. Like, or hey, you're going to be selling something, install this or something like that. Like, is it more along the lines of like the assistant is actually assisting rather than you asking the assistant to do something? Like, is it more of a passive
here's the deal
thing?
Either way, I think if the assistant's asking to help, like, let me tell you these things, or a user would do more of a generic thing, like, what do I need to do X, whatever. In both cases, and we've talked about this before on the show, when you start building with something that you're not like sure what you could be building, like it might be amazing what you end up with, but a lot of times it is just goo. You end up with goo at the end of that process, which you end up with when people try to build their own websites a lot of the time anyway, just because it's just because of perspective, right? For small business owners, they're not looking at it unless they're, a lot of small business owners are able to look at it in this way, but some are not able to get out of their own head and their own perspective to start viewing things as their audience, or from a UI perspective, or understanding how, accessibility might help their site, right? They don't have that perspective. So, I suppose AI could tell them that also, but it's still not going to make them care about that or think that that is important. And so they will have their site, right? They'll make their thing, and it'll probably make a lot of people happy because they'll feel like they're building something. But I feel like this just makes paying attention to detail and doing something, not just like to spin out content, which the web has been a nightmare of a place, for the past however many years, because it's just a bunch of drivel. It is a bunch of copy over copy, even Google's little summaries at the top are, siphoned from somewhere. Now they're generated from somewhere. Like, it's really not that different, right? Like, that is just cutting out, making it easier for us to eat the goo. Right?
Yeah. I mean,
and making it easier for us to eat the goo. Like, that's all that's happening.
Well, I mean, the thing I was thinking is, as you were talking about this, is that really it is like a small business owner. Yeah, sure. Like, they just want a site. They don't care. They can, if they can put a few prompts, if they can answer,
what are your business hours?
5 to 10 questions, right? If they can answer that handful of things and get a site, great. Now they don't have to worry about a site anymore.
Awesome.
But the problem is
they shouldn't be paying someone $2,000, $5,000 and getting grifted by a bad web developer, web king, whatever, to build their site that sucks anyway. Like that strata of folk, they should just build an AI site. They will be better off, honestly.
You should. However, I mean, it's the equivalent of the harried person who's just like, I don't have the time to do this. I'm just gonna swoop in and get something like that I can pull out of the freezer and throw into the oven for an hour or half an hour or whatever, or I'm gonna get some fast food or whatever. And I mean, it is almost lunchtime. So
like, are you making dinner? Lunchtime.
It's one of those things where, but I mean, you look at what fast food, what convenience meals and stuff like that has done to like the overall health of this country. It's ended up not being that great of a thing.
I think that's a great analogy. It's exactly the same thing. Like you can cook your own meal, or someone can cook a meal that is more elaborate, fresh, with different ingredients. They can make the same exact thing, right? They can make a burger that's the same as like McDonald's burger, but they made it from like meat that's ground from the pasture.
From meat. You just
there.
had to say from meat.
Yeah, just different meat, whatever. But whatever it is, like it's the same thing, but it's a completely different experience. There's a completely different value. And there's a time and a place for a McDonald's hamburger, not in my life, but for some people. And there is a time and a place, much more in my life, for, hamburgers that are made with, open range meat or whatever.
It's the mom saying, we got hamburgers at home. You don't need McDonald's. We got hamburgers at home.
No, even if you're going out to have someone make it for you, right? It just makes that value of like, I think AI just makes humans more valuable, right? Like that's what I think. I think it makes the goo, the copy, uncreative, that part of the internet, it just automates that. Like it makes it really easy to be a shyster. Like that, like all these different, like that guy who did that amusement park and like, made that amusement park on the weekend and like made all these beautiful AI images of this like experience Wonderland, and then it was like a gym with like some
bounce houses and that's it.
Right. Like that AI, that experience could have been made really awesome by a human being, right? But AI couldn't do that. AI can only make the packaging. AI can only give you the beginning. It can't actually give you the thing. And
it's funny now. It pulls into focus this thing that we were talking about before the show started. I've been reading this book. It's The Oral History of Hollywood. And I came to a quote from Roger Corman, and Roger Corman said, I believe that you can make any movie for any budget. He said, I believe you can make Dr. Zhivago. For those of you who aren't familiar, Dr. Zhivago is this huge, epic production, millions of dollars.
For the time, which was insane.
Yeah, beautiful story and everything else, made by this just master craftsman who made these like 2-3 plus hour long epics when that wasn't even a thing. He said, I believe that you could make Dr. Zhivago for $50,000 in 6 days. It'll look different than the Dr. Zhivago that's out there now, but you can do it.
Exactly. That's amazing. It is exactly that. Like you can do that, and it's going to make it so much easier to make the shitty Dr. Zhivago. Great.
Right.
We'll make 1 million Dr. Zhivagos, and then that will make the really great, whatever one that gets made that's like the epic with a lot of different stuff. Like we'll make that much better. And that might use AI too, but it's still going to have to like combine AIs and have some humans. Like I feel like the human element is only going to become more valuable and maybe not more valued by everyone, but even when we're kids, right? Like if we kind of swing between, if everybody has something, it's basic, right? Like you want to have the unique, different thing, right? But then if everybody has something because it's cool, you want to have the same thing. So like,
Right.
we have this weird thing within ourselves as humans to be like, oh, I want to both be different and the same at the same time. So like AI is great for that. It can help us be the same. And then we can also be unique and different. But I'm hopeful that this creates value for humans, like who are doing interesting things. I think it could be really interesting what we see in websites that aren't, it has already been so cookie cutter, so layout the same, patterns are so boring. Like they're like, here's some media, here's some text, like and you've seen creativity with blocks, right? We've got the Gutenberg Museum and all of that, but maybe this will start to bring in that element of creativity into a website, even if just to distinguish it from all of the plethora of content out there, that the website itself becomes an experience of something to like, oh, you should check out this website because it's really cool. So like websites, not just as brochures or, SEO funnels, but websites as something, communicating something themselves with the website, the information on the website, the design of the website, that I think, then you want to go see it.
See, the problem that I have with using AI to build sites, to heap more things onto AI is that it devalues the work that actual craftsmen are doing.
See, I don't think it does. I just agree. I think it makes it more valuable.
But the standard person will go, hey, I can get a site out of this AI site builder for nothing or next to nothing. Why the hell should I pay you?
They already have that conversation. They just end up coming, AI is going to do a better job helping them. The more prevalent
that AI becomes, the more prevalent it's going to be, where it's like, this is a thing that devalues the work that that we try to do in building sites. I'm not as bullish on it as some folks are. I don't think that this is going to be a good thing. It's good. I don't necessarily think that we're going to end up seeing more people graduate from the kind of like mid-ass site that this AI page builder is going to make for us and go, oh, I want something better, I'm going to have to pay somebody for that. They're still not going to want to fucking pay.
We're going to have more of that mid site, right? Like, and
I hate it.
Well, I mean, great, but like you don't want to be in that anyway. Like,
I just want the restaurants to have the menu.
I want to make sites that are useful and are tools and people go to for, like I build out, public art maps and things that are bespoke to an area or to a people or something like that, that are, the website itself is not just a marketing tool, right? It's not just churning out post content that is, intended to sell something to somebody. And I don't care how many of those sites there are. In my mind, I ignore them all anyway, because there's, what value is there? That has no value to me. I don't want to read someone's copy of a copy of a copy for their business input.
I don't need to go look at a brochure site like that. It's you go to a hotel, especially if it's like one that you're in an area you don't normally live in, and so many of them have those like stands with all the brochures of like, here's the activities you can go do in the area. I never look at any of those. Like,
unless you're waiting for like your cab or an Uber or something, then you like kind of stare at them blankly.
Yes, sure, maybe, but
no one even goes on the internet for that stuff anymore. Like we haven't, like if a bunch of more crappy websites get built, that does not really, to me, it's just bleh, like more like water drops in the ocean. It doesn't matter because it's just a big morass of nonsense anyway. And a lot of people don't even bother with websites because there's no way to like, Google's not even going to show us websites anymore. So it's like it makes the website itself need to be a destination, which is to me more interesting than just like passing along information or social regurgitation all over the place, right? Like you want to go to the website. That is for the experience, for the information. That would make the website more valuable. So whether you create that with AI or if it's all automated or whatever, if the website is that experience, then that's pretty cool. I do not think that you can get there with AI. I mean, I guess AI can
I don't either.
Cool, weird, random websites that like show you a goat or something, but like a human would still have to think of that. So I feel like AI is going to enable AI site builders, AI for the web websites specifically, is going to enable a lot more spam, a lot more mirrored gunk, which we already deal with and we already is stupid. And that people are just going to go do more of that. Then it's going to enable people to get online quicker. So maybe, the local Thai joint down the street will have a slightly better website than they have instead of the one from 1999 or whatever that like just links to Grubhub. And then we'll have sites that get made by people and are trying to communicate something and are works of art. And then you want to, like I said, you want to go to that website. And the rest of the stuff, like Google's stopping its job of connecting people to the internet. Like Google doesn't want to do that anymore. You know what I mean? It just wants to eat it up and then serve it to you. So I mean, Google SEO is having like a whole crisis. What a website is changing and has been changing because you can make layouts, because you can make automated content, because we already had problems with the site spin ups that would like spin up 100 sites about something. We already had review bots. So
I have a restaurant in my town that their domain name has changed so many times because of the fact that every time they sign up for some new service, the service says, here's the domain name for it. Right. And here's how you're going to, pay for all the people to, order online and whatever. But I would love it if that company could just like literally take their menu, pull out their phone and take a picture of the menu. Yes. And then it sends it to an AI that builds out a freaking table that
here's
shows
the stuff that's on your menu,
how much all this stuff's going to cost. Yeah.
I
would love that.
And also it says their hours and gives
they don't even need an about page at that point. Yeah. I just need them to give me the freaking amount, how much it's going to cost for me to buy the thing, and then the phone number for me to call them and actually pay them in dollar bills what it is that they are selling.
I hate Yelp. However, like it's people who are aggrieved over the stupidest, like most minuscule things
and shills. It's people who are aggrieved and shills, and nobody, like a handful of people, humans, being like, here are my true feelings on this one area, whatever.
Nobody writes a really honest. You want an honest Yelp review? Go look at the 3-star Yelp review. However, because then they've actually put some weight into like why they're giving this thing a 3-star. But here's my point. The only thing I use Yelp for, and I have it installed on my phone. I fucking hate this app. Sorry for
swearing today. You have a lot of feelings about AI.
I do have a lot of feelings. I hate this app. I hate this app. However, it tells me the hours, and more often than not, one of those Yelp users who's not
took a picture of the menu.
It took a picture of the menu, so I can see the menu.
Exactly.
I don't care.
Like like if we can use AI to get out of this little, hack.
Yeah.
Which is what we all have done that. I bet everyone listening to this show or hearing that has gone to Yelp to get the picture of the menu. Like everyone has done this. And if we can help those small websites, those businesses can't afford a developer who's, again, people love to charge. Like they're like, oh, I'll build you your whole thing for $2,000, includes 5 pages. Like you know, they're not getting someone who cares about their site for what they can afford to pay that they get, you know, so they're just going to use the whatever one. And if they can now spin something up and for $16.95 a month on a website or whatever, have basic content and the AI just tells them what to do, like I think that's great. Like that will enable them to provide that information to the internet, especially considering, I don't know if we talked about this, but Google has now canceled all of the business sites that were created, all of the websites that were created through Google My Business. So this whole campaign for like multiple years where they're saying, oh, get your business listing on Google and then click build a website. We'll build a website for you. And then over the past, I think it was like 6 months ago or something, they were like, and those websites are going away. Good luck. Bye-bye. Have fun.
Google Reader.
Google is actively making Google worse because giving you search results for the thing that you're looking for does not keep you on Google long enough. So they're giving you purposely worse answers. There's emails from Google employees that have come out within the past like few weeks here where they have
going on with Google right now.
They have talked about like, hey, giving people the answer that they're looking for, it's no good. Like, because then they like just move on.
Capitalism eats itself.
Yes.
They're like, our whole goal is to provide you the answers you need on the web. So it doesn't make us enough money to give you the answers we need on the web. We are going to give wrong answers only.
So what did Google announce? What did Google announce at I/O, their developer conference? Now your search result page is going to be these AI summaries that keep you on Google. They're not even directing you to websites anymore. They're giving you answers that keep you on Google. This is the same problem that people had with AMP because you were giving AMP pages. Guess what? Those AMP pages being served from Google. They want to keep you on Google as much as possible.
Yeah.
They want to build this site where it became like, we want to help you find the information that you need. Now, all Google wants you to do is stay on Google.
Get ads.
Right.
Feed information with money ads. Okay. But the thing is about the SEO world, right? And SEO is a big part of websites. I don't know if anyone knows that or not.
I haven't gotten a single email in any of my my websites that tell me that SEO is an important thing.
SEO is a big deal, and it's going through a major. Well, it has been a big deal, and it's going through a major existential crisis right now. And they're like, "What's SEO?" I'm like, "Look, if there's no search engine getting you to a website, then there is no search engine optimization. So it literally is just like poof." And like, what does it become about? Oh, that's right. Telling people about your website so they will go to your website, not have to go through an intermediary, right? And then also, how do you tell people that you don't know? It's called marketing. And it existed pre-Google, but it got eaten up by, SEO and Facebook ads and all of that. And now they're not, they were like, here, you can use these techniques and you will help people find you. And now they're literally taking that all away. And it isn't about gaming. There's no system to game anymore, right? Like that Google's just like taking its balls and going home and it's playing its own game and you don't get to play anymore. And it's going to take all your content and your ball and everything else and then serve it up and play its own game that you don't get to be a part of. So to me, that just means the entire purpose of websites has changed.
Yeah.
And I already built websites in this purpose. So I'm happy about it because I think the crappy website era of what should we call it? The late 2010s, early 2020s has sucked. Like it's all dumb. It's all the content is repeated because everyone got, good at regurgitating everything. Like the information on the web used to be useful and interesting. And you would find stuff that was like, I didn't know that. And it's just not like that anymore. Like it's hard to find the good stuff within the goo. Yeah. And so I think building bespoke, cool websites for a reason other than selling people stuff, like that's going to be a cool thing. So,
well, I think we're just going to rename our podcast, Great WordPress Podcast Near Me, and then people will be able to find us. That's it for today, folks. Thank you very much for hanging out with us. We really appreciate it. If you enjoyed this content, ask your chatbot to leave a comment in our comments. We'd really appreciate it. The best chatbot comment will be displayed on our show next week. How about that? Talk to y'all later. You have a good one. See ya. There's our outro.
Happy weekend.
Outro. Here it is. Subscribe to this content here. We would appreciate that. We stream it on all the different places, even places that we don't want to sometimes. So we stream it everywhere. So enjoy our content. Talk to y'all later. Have a good one. Bye-bye.